4 years, I followed the fitness rules that I thought would get me my dream body. Everything from fasted cardio to eating a meal every 2 hours and even working out until I was drenched in sweat and thinking that was the only way that I could lose weight. Boy, was I wrong, but there will always be a trial and error period in your life that you need to go through until you figure out what truly does work for you. Instead of feeling strong and confident, I was feeling exhausted, I was feeling overtrained, and I was frustrated that I was getting nowhere with my results. The truth is, these fitness myths were holding me back, and I wish I had someone who was an expert in this realm at the time, aka me, to share with me their perspective and their knowledge and insight and the actual truth that I needed to hear in order to rethink my approach to health and wellness. So I am here today to break down these 5 fitness myths and mistakes that you may be making that are stopping you from seeing real progress. Believe it or not, I used to think that I had to eat every 2 hours in order to boost my metabolism. Let's be clear here. I am someone that when I commit to something, I go in and I do it. So if I commit to eating every 2 hours, the Virgo in me is going to eat every 2 hours to like the second. And at that time, I was convinced that if I didn't eat every 2 hours, that my body would go into starvation mode and that it would begin to store fat. It's crazy. I don't know where I found that from. I don't know who told me that this was true, but it was clearly advice that I was listening to that is so completely false and wrong. Here's the real truth. Meal timing matters a lot less than the quality of the food that you are actually eating. I promise you that your metabolism is not going to slow down just because you've gone a few hours without eating. If you are not hungry, you should not be consuming food. Of course, every once in a while, when there's a treat or a snack or you're somewhere and you want to try something, okay, fine, of course, we all do that. But generally speaking, I do not recommend to eat if you're not hungry. It's simple math. It is definitely girl math. What actually matters is the quality of the food that you're eating, whole food, organic, raw, all the things, your protein intake, and the quantity of calories throughout the day. So remember, all of the calories that we are burning throughout the day are hopefully a little bit less than the calories that we are consuming, aka being in a caloric deficit, if, our goal is to lose weight. I'm going to be very honest, I'm in a place right now where I don't track calories, I don't track the amount of food that I'm eating, I don't track the amount of calories that I'm burning when I work out. I'm just like in this perfect harmony, living in a way that is sustainable and feels good, but everyone is different, and especially if you are trying to lose weight, counting calories and just monitoring loosely the amount of calories that you're burning throughout the day could be a good idea for you. Once I stopped stressing about eating constantly and instead focused on nutrient-dense, high-protein foods that kept me full and satiated throughout my day and took me to my next actual meal, that is when I began to, number one, see results, but also felt more energized and was way more realistic and doable for my lifestyle. But little did I know, sweating is just your body's way of cooling down. It does not necessarily mean that you are burning more calories and dropping more fat. Some of my most effective workouts come from my Pilates workouts on the Shape app. Those are the workouts that at the time, it doesn't really feel like you're doing much. You're doing some leg kicks, you're doing some like arm openers, and then the next day you wake up, that's me today, and I'm like, holy crap, I am so sore. And I can tell you that this workout was not leaving me dripping in sweat. Focusing on more strength and Pilates style of movement is not only good for regulating and balancing out hormones and nervous systems and all the things because it's less harsh on the body, but it is also an incredible way to build lean muscle mass, which, as we know, helps burn fat and gets us one step closer to achieving that lean and sculpted body. Now I focus on training effectively rather than just chasing sweat. Work smarter, not harder. For years, I thought that carbs were the enemy. I was avoiding and scared of things like pizza, pasta, burgers, all of the things that I really do love, and I'm sure you can relate to that. At one point in my 20s, I would say to myself, okay, if I have avocado toast for breakfast, that is my only carb for the day, and I cannot have any carbs, including like a wrap for dinner or whatever it may be, rice for the rest of the day. Like that's my one meal a day that has carbs. I don't know how I lived like that for so long. I was literally so afraid that carbs would make me gain weight, and that is not the mindset to have. I also used to only have a cheat day on Sunday. So that meant like the entire week there was no indulgence. Not one cookie, not one sweet, no chocolate after dinner, literally nothing. Sunday was my day, and I would force myself to wait until Sunday to eat anything bad, and then Sunday I would go like disgusting, like gross. Like I would just eat everything that I had imagined about the entire week, but that is not a sustainable way to live. I would much rather, have that piece of pizza on a Tuesday and have a piece of cake on a Friday, maybe have, a hamburger on Sunday, God forbid, and be more balanced in that way versus like restrict, and then binge. It is not a good cycle mentally to be in. The truth, carbs are fuel, and our bodies use carbs as energy for a lot of the tasks that we are doing throughout our day. Your body needs carbs for energy, for performance, and even for recovery from all of the workouts that you are doing within your week. Also, a clean diet doesn't mean a perfect diet from Monday to Saturday. It means finding the perfect balance, like I mentioned, and beginning to work on that relationship with food. We don't want to associate and label all of the yummy foods as bad. Instead, we can focus on doing an 80-20 diet, which is the approach I take now. 80% of the time I am clean. I'm focused at eating at home, high protein, solid breakfast in the morning, making sure that I am fueling myself appropriately. And then the other 20% of the time is your indulgence. And think about spreading that throughout the week for a more sustainable way of living. Once I stopped fearing carbs and allowed flexibility in my diet, I improved my energy throughout the day. My workouts were better, and my body composition finally leaned out, which is what I wanted. If I was not sore after a workout, I used to think that I was wasting my time. I thought that soreness meant progress, and if I did not feel it the next day, I would be upset and think that I did not work hard enough in the gym at that session. I would push myself to the point of exhaustion in the gym. I was sore showing up to majority of my workouts, so then I wasn't even able to put like my 100% effort into them, and it led to fatigue, overtraining, exhaustion, and again, my body was just inflamed, swollen, and was not the lean and sculpted body that I know myself to be now. And trust me, I am working a lot less hard, allegedly. If you are sore the next day after a workout, it means that you experienced micro tears in your muscle. It does not automatically mean that you had an effective workout. We can't correlate one with the other. My best progress came when I stopped focusing on how sore can I make myself in the gym, and I started focusing on what is the movement that is sustainable, makes me feel good, and that I actually enjoy showing up to every single day, because that is how we stay consistent and we keep coming back. We keep leaning into that movement that we can carry on for a lifetime. Despite what the gym bros say, you do not need to destroy your body at every single workout, okay? In fact, constantly chasing soreness can be counterproductive. It can lead to fatigue, overtraining, and a lack of recovery. And most of the time, you don't give yourself enough recovery time before jumping into your next workout, which is a problem. Now, instead of overtraining, I focus on more low-impact movement. I focus a lot on mobility and stretching, especially after getting a hip injury from overtraining and not taking care of my mobility and my longevity in my joints. And this approach has helped me get stronger and rebuild my muscles so that I can work out on a more consistent basis. I tap in and listen to my body every single day. I take the rest days when it's needed, and I do not force myself to show up through unnecessary strain or pain anymore. Those days are long gone, they are over. Soreness is definitely not the goal when we want to have our dream body and look and feel our best. Instead, longevity, endurance, and recovery are the key to having that. For years, I thought that I had to do cardio before lifting weights. I kind of looked at it as some type of warm-up. So I would go on the treadmill for about 20 to 30 minutes, walking, jogging, sprinting, whatever it may be, before even lifting or picking up a weight. This is also a question I get asked all the time on my social media. Should I be doing weights before cardio or cardio before weights? So let me break it down. When you are doing cardio before your weights, you are essentially exhausting your body, so you're not showing up to your strength session with as much power and probably not working out as effectively and efficiently as you can because you've already burned a lot of that energy for the cardio. Instead, we want to focus on prioritizing strength training first, or Pilates, or whatever form of movement you are doing. When you lift weights before cardio, you have more energy to build muscle. And by the way, as we know it, the more muscle we build, the more we boost the metabolism and the more fat we burn. So let's keep our energy for our resistance training first. I always recommend doing cardio after your workout. So essentially any energy that you have left from your training session, put it in, dump it into that cardio session. Number one, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. So it's going to push you to work harder if you are doing things like jogging or running or sprinting. But for me, I'm just like a walking princess. You know how they say like Pilates princess? We need to come up with a term for like maybe like a walking queen. I am a walking queen and will get outside or on the treadmill doing incline as my form of cardio after majority of my workouts. This is the most effective way that you will lose weight and burn fat. Once I made this switch, I got stronger and more toned without spending extra time in the gym, and that is ideal. So if you've been believing these myths all of this time, trust me, I've been there, I get it, but this is your time to let it go. Now you've learned, now you know what is best for your body. So implement those changes and start working out more effectively, doing the practice, doing the things that will actually get you sustainable long-term results. No more extremes, no more burnouts, just small, simple habits that actually work. So let me know in the comments if you have believed any of these myths before. Let me know the changes that you are going to start implementing. And I hope you learned something productive from this video. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Make sure to check out my latest video here.